If you're not happy with who you are, it might be because you aren't trying hard enough. Now, I'm not telling you that you should go all David Goggins and that you should go and destroy yourself in the gym, or you need to just engage in something that's really disruptive to you, or I don't mean that you should hate yourself or anything, but I mean that there's actually probably something that's holding you back, which is your fear. Now, your fear will manifest in many different ways, but this can be through resistance, and it can be through all these kind of little, almost like gremlins that hide away in your mind. You might feel like life has no meaning, but that's because all the things that you want to do that would make it meaningful, your mind is telling you are not what you should do with it. So no wonder you're going to be depressed and feeling sad about it all if everything that you would be able to find meaning in and happiness and excitement from is stuff that your mind is already dismissing as not worth trying. So I want this video to be a helpful one for you to be able to work out. Just notice these kind of thoughts they're having, and most of all the consequences that come about from actually listening to these, and the consequences of not listening to these and doing what you really want to do anyway. Because if you want to do something grand with your life, if you want to live it fully, you have to notice the resistance and the fear that you have, and you have to actually go in that direction. In fact, that's the only way that you're ever going to make progress in the ways that you really want to make progress. After all, what is a fear? A fear is us paying attention to something that means a lot to us. We wouldn't care about that thing. It wouldn't be something we fear if it didn't mean a lot to us. So with these videos that I'm doing at the moment, I want to make this a full-time thing. I want to be able to help millions of people around the world be able to actually love themselves, feel happy about themselves, be able to actually go for what they want in their lives. And so I've been getting all these things together over the last couple of weeks and about a month now. And I've been very reluctant to make videos. In fact, I'm making this video and it's inspired off this because of this exact story that I'm going through and I'm feeling. And I haven't wanted to make any videos because I've been worrying that maybe I wouldn't be able to give good advice, maybe I wouldn't really have anything to say, maybe that what I would say would be just what I would put in a paid course that I can do in the future. And then if someone bought the course, they would then just see that the course, something that they've paid hard money for, is something that they've already got for free off a bunch of videos. And I don't want that to be the case. I want people, if they pay for something from me, for it to be something that's valuable. But I've had a lot of these worries and thoughts, and it's almost like they've been like little goblins crawling up my shoulders, whispering into my ear, trying to stop me from actually doing this. And I think in some way we have these bits of us because it's our side as we now are trying to stop us from growing, because growth is about uncertainties, it's about new things, it's about becoming something new. And we like to stick with what we know. Fear of the unknown is the biggest fear there is, arguably. I think the biggest reason why we all get in this mindset is because when we're a child and something scares us or there's something we don't like doing, most of the time we don't really have to do it. Or if we have to do it, we kind of resent our parents for doing it. Now, some of us have the advantage of having to do it, and then they go through their fears and they actually conquer them. But some of us, and for quite a lot of few things, when you're a child, you're not as significant as some other people, and you might just have things done for you. And a lot of us also just grow up and feel these fears that we have about things, and then we just don't do anything until circumstances outside of our control change them. So, especially for quite a lot of people, And if you are someone who's watching this, then you might unfortunately be a bit more like this. But a lot of us were conditioned with this kind of sense of a learned helplessness. This idea that we can't do anything to change our circumstances because everything that we would try would fail. And that's such a horrible, and it's a way that when you think that way, it just strangles you from being able to do anything in the world. And that's horrible. I don't want anyone to feel like that. The good news is that not everyone in the world feels like that. And most people who do something with their lives don't feel that way. And you can change that. But those are going to be slightly other videos. The main point of this video is to talk about that resistance, those fears that you have, and to suggest to you why it's still worth confronting them. As Ali Abdul, in one of his recent videos, pointed out, I think also another part of this is our school system, where we spend so much time working up to one final exam, and that's meant to make or break everything. And we have this idea that we can't go back. So many of us are so scared because when we look at that thing and we've never done that thing before, and then we then step it up, we don't really know what is actually beyond that. It feels like everything in our lives just changes if we take that one step. And again, it comes back to that feeling of unknown, but it also comes back to that idea that everything will change. But here's the real thing. It probably won't. For instance, you're scared at expressing yourself on video, or if you're scared of asking that girl, boy, them, whatever, out. If you're scared of actually going for that job you'd want to do, or if you're scared of starting something that you really care about but you're not sure if it's going to work or not. The truth is, it's when you take that first step, it's just that, it's a first step. It's a step of 10,000 more that you've got to take. When Bob Ross became a painter, did he wait around for the whole of his life not doing anything and then suddenly picking up a paintbrush and being perfect? Nahi. Did any of these other famous artists or painters do this? Did any filmmaker ever do this? Did any footballer? I don't know any footballers these days, but if you follow football, has any footballer you've ever known just been perfect and they've entered their football clubs because they turned up to one training session and they played one match and they'd never kicked a ball in their lives before ever, and suddenly it happened? No, obviously not. Like, I felt bored just trying to explain that whole thing. This isn't the case. The truth is that the thing you're really scared about is actually just the tiniest step in a much larger picture. Take the example of asking a beautiful woman out. Now, that might be terrifying, but realistically, if you're in a position where you're maybe quite scared, well, there's only two things that can really happen. Well, there's probably three things that can really happen. One, you could get laughed at by people. That does suck, but things will change in the future. Two, they could say no, but they'd probably respect that you had balls. Three, they could say yes. Now, the reality is, if you're probably watching something like this, you probably won't be able to get the girl of your dreams, or the boy of your dreams, or the whoever of your dreams. That person is almost locked behind 10 doors when it comes to a relationship, or however many doors, or however many years of your own personal discovery and your own reflections in life to be able to be a good person for someone else. The reality is that you can actually really hype down the things that you really want to do with your life, because right now the thing that's giving you the most fear, it's literally just one step in the whole thing. This YouTube video, this isn't going to make or break my career. Look at it. The set's probably not that good. Admittedly, I've got a pile of washing there. I've got some blue tack up there where a picture fell down. You can see the picture that's actually fell down over there. This isn't exactly the most optimal thing. I'm not exactly a Mr. Beast here, am I? But you've got to start somewhere. And this one video is just one of 1,000 that I'll make literally over the next, well, if I do videos for 10 years, that's 500. If I did YouTube for 20 years, then that's 1,000. And I might do. So the first way to think about it is that the thing that you're really scared about right now, it's like if you ever invest in the stock market, you'll notice that when you put your money in, let's say you put in £5 or something in trading too, you'll see the little graph, and the graph will go, the graph will be at 0, and then it'll go poof, and then here's your £5 that's in trading 2 on 2. Now that's gigantic, and that's how this first step or these first couple of steps feel. If you're trying hard on something, you probably also have some of these fears because you've tried it in the past and you've been rejected from that thing, or it hasn't gone the way you've wanted, it's been negative. And that's probably where you even got those negative beliefs from. But just because it happened badly once in the past doesn't mean that all the same circumstances are going to be there. You're going to have all the same skills, there's going to be all the same people around. It doesn't mean any of those things. And then on top of that, if it is still that case, there are ways that we can always change them. But that's another side video. My point here, though, is that first step, or those first couple of steps, will seem like it's like this giant mark. But then, if you've invested £5 for the last 10 months, every month, £5 that went poof is now only a tenth of 500. Of 500. And it's like that. So on the grand scheme of things, when you really zoom out and you look about how big your dream is, this small step, that is just this small step. But none of the other steps can happen unless you actually start. My advice probably is just to know that your first iteration of this thing is going to be terrible. And that's fine, because you will have the 999 other times that you do that iteration, and eventually it will tweak and it will become perfect. That's all you need to do. You're not having an issue of your quality in this action or this thing you want to do right now. You have a problem with quantity. You just need to do it. You just need to get it done. You need to fail at it because, well, one, that will help you also improve in it. But you just need to get it done. You just need to be able to go, oh, well, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Or you need to go, fuck it, I did that. I was terrified of doing that, and now I've done it. So that's what you need to do. Another thing that I was going to talk about with this is how this reflects into also your broader life as well. Now, let's say, for example, you're wanting to become a YouTuber and you're terrified about getting backlash of people, you're scared of people laughing at you, you're scared that you're not going to have any ideas, you can do this, that, and the other. Now, you have two choices. One, you can listen to it and you can do nothing and you can just never be able to access that kind of life that you wanted or entertained the idea of. Or two, you can listen to that fear and you can still do it anyway. And, well, that's what I'm doing, for instance, here. But I wanted to give you this kind of graph that I'd made because I think it's understandable and it's why we're all not professionals at everything. As you can see here, my wonderful drawing skills. Right here, we've got difficulty, and then right here, we've got time. Now, the thing is that the world is already overloaded with so many things. We've all got a lot of responsibilities. Especially if you're younger, you haven't done a lot of things before. So you're not going to have the skills or the knowledge to, well, actually do them. You're not even going to have a full understanding about what it is that you're doing. And so things can seem pretty daunting and pretty big. So most of us, in most instances, never actually try and do the hard thing. We only do what's required. Now, that might be getting good grades, that might just be not getting expelled. That might be any one of these things. It might just be get a decent job which allows you to pay rent somewhere. And so most of us don't take this difficulty curve because life is already difficult enough. It's already overloaded enough. There's already enough suffering going on that the last thing we want to have to think about when we get home is struggling and actually engaging in difficulty along a path. We just want to be able to rest and recuperate. And for a lot of people, they might not actually be able to do this again because the only thing they can do is rest and recuperate. But it's not helpful to think that that's your way. And it's helpful to think that you still have an opportunity. Because this is a key example. This is a crystal ball into my personal future. Now, maybe that sounds a bit full of myself, but don't worry, it's the same crystal ball that's into your future. And here's your two timelines. The red timeline is that you don't engage in external difficult tasks beyond the ones that are required by you, from you by society and X, Y, and Z, your family, whatever. And so you keep on going along and you're walking because you never try to work hard to get a car in this instance. And so your timeline to getting what you want from life, you're going to be walking for far longer than someone who's in a car is. My analogy here is that, let's say there's a place you want to go to that's 1,000 miles away. Now, you can either walk that, and that take however many days it does. Well, let's say it's 100,000 miles away. Now, you can either not go through the difficulty of learning to drive and instead just walk there. You could do that. Or you could go through the difficulty of learning to drive, it being really difficult as you're learning and it's hard. But then after you've learned to drive, it becomes a lot easier to do until eventually it's just a matter of habit. And then you have a vehicle that can get you 10 times faster to your destination. This analogy of travel is the same one that I'd say about life as well. We could not face our fears. We could not go through the resistance that we need to go through. That's an option. But you're maybe not going to be able to get to the places you want to go to as fast. Maybe the better play here, in most instances perhaps, is that you do those things that you find hard. You push yourself in those ways. Because it's going to be flipping difficult at the start. But then eventually it will become second nature. And you'll be this new person with this new skill set. And it will be a lot easier for you to get where you want to go in life. Compared to if you would have never even tried. Moreover, life is full of so many circumstances and things that are unexpected that pop up in our lives. And you may never be able to get the chance to achieve your dreams if you don't try and work towards them in a more intense way, in a way. You may wake up one day and realize everything you would have wanted to have done or you could have done with your life is now no longer possible or is incredibly harder. And that kind of thought, it used to scare me, but I don't think that way anymore. I think that I'm going to be able to achieve what I want to. But if you do need a bit of a motivation in running away from something, that's a nice thing to wake up and think. If you're interested in working one-on-one with me, then by the time you see this, I might unfortunately not have any more spaces to pick up. But if I am available, then you can email the email down below and just say, hey, I'm looking to get this out of the conversation. I'm helping people find direction and purpose in their lives, and I'd love to help you out as well. It may also be that by the time you see this, I have a school community, and that should be down there below. You can join that for a certain amount per month, and it will give you access to a whole plethora of different things. I'll let you go and see that though. Thank you.